Okay, so I should, yeah, okay. I've been on for like a minute of dead air here. Okay. Hey, morning Ravencroft, what's going on? Good to see you. And what is happening out there right now? What's going on where you are? Because quite honestly, I'm curious. Don't have a whole lot planned for this one. This is just an impromptu live stream just because I was like, hey, why not? Oh, Captain Gravebeard. Dude, welcome. You've got to be kidding me. I have had that on all damn day. Ever since I got back from the training thing I was doing. Freaking Ancient Aliens. When I left off, they were talking about the Tuatha, which I was like, yo, that's a really interesting subject. But personally, um, I kind of, you know, I kind of like this book. I know the lighting's shit, but Celtic Myths and Tales by Epic Tales. This is yeah, it's Ancient Aliens, one of my favorite shows too, definitely. And I believe it or not, we were just talking about Barnes and Noble and all that kind of stuff, and that's where I got these two books. So Norse and Celtic Tales, and this happened because there were two $25 um, sort of leatherette bound books, and they were both these. They were Norse and Celtic folklore. I'm a big folklore nut, but anyway, um, I couldn't have but one, and I was leaning one way or the other, and I found those, and they were about like $12 each, and I was like, ah, I can have both. Yes. What do we got? They're talking about Beltane in Ireland right now. I think I've seen that episode actually. Um, love that stuff. Are those system specific or its own game? Those are not games. No, those are, like I said, they're folklore. They're folklore. I love folklore. You know, those old folk tales and things like that. I love that kind of stuff. It's just a lot of fun. All right. So I had to go and make sure that the link got out. That's what caused like almost 2 minutes of just dead air. Just me running around, kind of like throwing this link around, going, "Hey, come hang out. Come hang out. Let's talk." I've got like maybe a two or three topics to talk about. I don't really know if I want to talk about One D&D. I think enough has been said in the last day. Oh, what were the? You know, at this point, I'm like, whatever. I may have to get those. I have a culture in my homebrew called Highlanders. It's a mix of Scotch and Irish. Yeah, a lot of my own ancestry. It's a European mix. I mean, obviously, geez, I'm this pale. You know, it's not just the lighting. I really am kind of pale, but um, Scottish and Irish got a lot of that. The Scandinavian is kind of a smaller part of my lineage and my ancestry, but that's because they came from Scandinavia. They landed in Scotland, England, Wales, Ireland, and like they had a tendency to do when they stayed a while anywhere, they just kind of they assimilated. They went right in, and their influence is still widely felt, especially in artwork, because if you look at Norse knotwork and Celtic knotwork, they are so strikingly similar, and those cultures still share symbols. So it's really cool stuff, and yeah, uh, $12. As a matter of fact, one of the guys who sent me that rune deck, I still owe him two readings, by the way. The guy who sent me that new rune deck I recommended the Norse Myths and Tales to him, and he ordered it. So let's see, what was he? Posted a big comment on D&D about one. 26% Scotch. Yeah, okay. So yeah, Cap, we share some bloodline there. Love it. What Scottish clan do you know? That would be interesting to find out. Because I do have an interesting story about that. As a matter of fact, I had an uncle who worked for the FBI. What he did with the FBI, I'm not entirely sure. But he did research our family history, and he put together this book. And I want to say it was probably about as big as those two books I showed you. Not together, just individually. But, wasn't typical 8.5 by 11. It was a pretty sizable book. And he compiled a lot about our family history. It was kind of hard to read because a lot of it was photocopied, stuff. And I remember my best friend, we'd been friends since elementary school. He lived just down the street from me. We're going through the book itself, and I'm just kind of like showing him, I'm like, check this out. And no doubt, I showed him the first thing you'll find in the very back pages were the families and the clans of our families, like the coat of arms. So we're kind of flipping through that. I showed him ours. I was like, that's ours, dude. That's pretty cool, huh? He's like, oh, yeah. And we're flipping through all this. And I'm not even kidding you. He stopped me cold and he goes, that's mine. I'm like, wait, what? And we looked, and apparently his family and mine were distantly related. We found that out that day. So, I always called him my brother from another mother, but man, that just like drove it home. So what we did was we took this book and we marked it, just kind of marked the page, hot-footed it down the street, and then we showed his dad. And his dad confirmed some of the stories that we could make out in that book. And I was like, whoa, dude, we're related. That's wild. Let's see. So unknown, however, last name is Nooner. That's something to look into, like that was one of the reasons, like, I'm working on Greyhorn right now, was because the whole purpose behind Greyhorn as a game was mainly to inspire people to, research their lineages, get to know their ancestries. If you really, really, truly want an identity, look at your own past, and then you'll know where you've been, you'll know where you are, and that way you'll know where you're going. And, anyone can do it. You can easily put it all together. So something truly like 100% actually inclusive, organically, not forced or anything like that. Never met anyone with the same last name outside my own family. You know what? I have taken my last name, and I've done just like a brief search, and found we have a website. We do have a castle still in Scotland. It's a small one. It's nothing colossal, and we do have someone who is a steward of that castle who has the seat of it. And yeah, it's pretty amazing, some of the stuff about my family I found out. I still want a kilt in my family's tartan, because I think before, when I was a kid, I'd be like, But now I'm like, that is, culturally, it's really, really cool, and I'd love to do something like that. There's also there's also like a family. I don't know if it's a crest or a signet ring, but I would love to have one of those. Wanted one since I was about, I don't know, 18, 19 years old. Love to have one of those just to, carry a piece of that tradition with me. Yeah, it just, I don't know, something so interesting. Like when you're able to look into your own family's culture and history, it's really cool. But one thing I did want to talk about, uh, especially those viewing later, Big Geek Emporium. It is a thing now. I think did it open? Did it open? It opened this week, right? Or was that last week? I think it was probably this week. It's live. It's growing. It's not drive through RPG level yet, but we're getting there. And thank goodness. Let's see what we got. Found a family crest and other things. I know others are out there. Yes, Big Geek open this week. Thank goodness. Okay, so I'm not just I'm not just misremembering things. I've been doing that kind of a lot where I'll, recent events are getting jumbled up. It's because everything's crazy. Everything's absolutely nuts. And let me tell you, with everything being absolutely nuts, not only am I studying for pharmacy certification, but also just picked this up from the locker. And studying this as well. As a matter of fact, the guy who got me into YouTube, uh, Brian Scarborough, over at Fixed Air Moon, that channel, I've picked up watching him again. I had to stop for a little while because I was like, I wonder if my readings were being influenced by watching his videos. Then I realized after a few months of not watching his videos or watching his videos after I'd done my reading, I was like, yeah, I don't think it's him influencing my readings. So I thought it was kind of safe to go back and start watching again. His horoscopes are on point, and he has a class that costs like $100, and I'm probably going to take it. Um, as it stands, I got like 3 books of astrology up here, but anyway, we can come back to astrology. Let's see what we got. Boom, what do we got? Might put something together with my homebrew world, particularly about flora and fauna. Well, that would be cool. And, as much detail as you could put in there to kind of really flesh it out. I would say less is more, in my opinion, just my opinion. And I say that because look at all the adventure books for something like basic fantasy, which is where I want to put Greyhorn right there in basic fantasy. Look at that. Those are not very big books, and they're not going to. How can I put this? The adventure anthologies are the bigger books. I personally think Chris Gonerman, Stuart Marshall, Matthew Finch, all those guys. I really think they need to also host on Big Geek Emporium. I have been there. I haven't purchased anything from there yet. Grim Jim. I think Grim Jim needs to be there. Actual fucking Monsters needs another place other than his website. Or Lulu. You could get it on Lulu, but you're only going to get it in print. You can't get the PDF. I would love to get a PDF of that because it would make it a little easier to pack around without jacking up my book. Also, let's see, there's Cow Punchers will be up there. That'll be in September though. That's by John Torres, the basic expert. The entire website was started by Joe and crew over at Biggest Geekus. Recommend that channel too. Just a bunch of really level-headed guys, old school, players. No, I think they may play 5th edition. I'm not really sure. But big D&D fans from way back. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that they're into other games as well. But the impetus for starting it was they got, they realized drive-through RPG is a censorious shit show. And that's really all there is to it. Drive-through RPG, I'm gonna say some nice things about them. Let me go on record. Number one, their customer service, it's excellent. It really is. Their shipping, takes a few days. It's not Amazon Prime, but I will say this. My books, maybe they come with a dinged corner or two from time to time, but for the most part, they're pretty good. I've never had a mistake in my orders, and that means, like, some people, they'll order like the 2nd edition D&D Player's Handbook. They'll open it up, they'll be thumbing through it, and there's poetry in there for some reason. So an order for a poetry book, got mixed in with this, and somehow it wound up with a D&D cover on it and sent to the, So somebody out there got a poetry book with the poetry cover, and they're looking, going, what is character creation? I've never had that happen. Okay. Conflict resolution is quick. They tend to just get on things. They get on it, dog on it, and that's fine. However, they were trying for a partnership with Roll20. Roll20 is an extremely, in my opinion, they're racist. They're racist and discriminatory, and then call themselves whatever. They can make all the wild claims they want, but they've been trying for a partnership with them. There was a YouTuber who built his audience organically. He has a rather large audience. Used Roll20, advocated for Roll20, was basically an unpaid ambassador for Roll20. He goes to Roll20, he pitches this idea, and they said, no, we have too many white creators already. And then in the same conversation, he's going to tell him how, this guy is going to tell this YouTuber how great it is that they just hired this person of color who's never done any of this a day in their life. That's why the rules are the way they are with drive-through. That's why they are the way they are with one bookshelf, and they're going to be applied only one way. You and me. And it's already happened. And a lot of people were like, oh, this is the Venger Satanis rule. Well, no. Venger really didn't violate the rule. He didn't violate any rules. What it is, he ran afoul of somebody. And that somebody reported 2 of his scenarios. Now, I'm going to say this. Venger, stop advertising that shit ahead of time. I'd say this is just what I would do. If I were in Venger's spot, because nothing gets me happier than being able to just kind of stick it to someone who has declared themselves my enemy. I love doing that. Don't telegraph your move. Take a lesson from UFC fighters. You telegraph a move, then they know what's coming. They can duck, dodge, or nuclear kick blast you in the face. And that's what happens twice. So that's the only thing Venger, I think, did wrong. If I were him, I'd have just written the module, say, hey, I've got a new one coming. Got a new one coming. Give me a few days or whatever it is he needs. I don't know how long his creative process is. Give me a few, and I'll have it up, and I'll let you know when it's up. You know, hey guys, I got this new scenario called The Good Samaritan. It's up. You can go download it for free right now. And then, of course, I, as a fan of Chalt, go download it. I read it, and if I don't like it, well, it was free. I could just delete the damn thing, right? But, yeah. That was his anti-abortion scenario. All these other games out there, pro-abortion, they're not pro-choice. They're actually trying to push a pro-abortion agenda. But suddenly, Venger pushes a pro-life scenario. It's kind of based in part on the Canaanites sacrificing their children to Baal. And I guess that was a bridge too far. You know. So the heroes in this game try to stop that. I don't see how that's objectionable material. And I've read it. I've read it start to finish. So that got pulled down. And I don't think that one ever got put back up. I think that was done. Venger, though, can still send it by request through your DriveThruRPG email address. Yo, Dano. What's up, dude? You know what? We might talk some Dragonlance tonight, too. Because this is the guy that... crud. Trying to point this away. No, it's this away. Okay. So this guy right here at the bottom of my screen. That's the man responsible for getting me into Dragonlance. Oh my God. My dude, what's up? Graybeard, good to see you back. I know you came back like a few minutes ago. Good to see friends in here. But anyway, yeah, so Venger publishes one, it gets taken down, it got yanked. He did a second one, which was a satire for Pride Month called Rainbow Crystal Utopia. I've read that one. Oh my goodness. I read it and I couldn't stop laughing because it's satire. It's ridiculous. And that's why I bought it. I actually bought that one and love it. It's pretty awesome. So I had a lot of fun reading it too. I really did. But it got yanked within an hour of it being up, which meant someone had to buy it, someone had to read it, or they reported it solely based on what Venger was saying in the first fucking place. And Venger has treated DriveThruRPG with nothing but the utmost respect. He has been perfectly fair with them. He has not engaged in any kind of, what was that? Hostile marketing? That was one of the new rules that dropped. So, like, if I publish something to DriveThruRPG rips it down, and I'm like, you know, if I got it on Lulu and Big Geek Emporium, I am apparently not allowed to say, this was too hot for DriveThruRPG, but you can buy it here and you can buy it there. I'm not allowed to do that. That's part of the rules now. So you can't criticize them. You can't call them out, especially if they fucked up. And I'm like, what? Now, a bunch of us have made videos. Miguel Ribeiro and Silvia Clemente, both of them published an adventure for the Wretchedverse or Wretchploitation called Sexual Holocaust. That one got yanked. And Miguel has stated on the Red Room channel, for the record, he has absolutely no intention of editing it, not in any way, shape, or form, especially the cuts that Drive Through wants them to make. And he's like, absolutely not. But it's on Lulu. It's on Big Geek Emporium. And Big Geek Emporium is just one of those places where, as long as it's legal, you can pretty much say what you want. I'm pretty sure that we're gonna get some bad bad types. Very disappointed with Coyote and Crow. Yeah, we talked about that one. I made my displeasure about Coyote and Crow and their creators. Not the creators themselves. I don't know them, but their general attitude. Mainly one in particular, Connor. Connor went on his rant. Well, just buy it anyway. Stick it on a shelf. You don't have to play it. I also don't have to buy it, Connor. Yeah. Be like that sometimes. I do not have to purchase it. And that's the thing. I think Big Geek Emporium is going to be standing on that kind of thing. Well, yeah, we're hosting Lamentations of the Flame Princess. Yeah, we've got a supplement called Fuck for Satan. We got another one called Sexual Holocaust. We got another one called Rainbow Crystal Utopia, and got Chalton, the Good Samaritan, and all that. We've got How to DM Like a Fucking Boss. We got how to write an adventure like a fucking boss. You don't have to buy it, but we're gonna put it up there. We're putting it on the shelf right next to Thirsty Sword Lesbians. Oh, you want a copy of Thirsty Sword Lesbians? There you go. Go ahead, buy it. It's fine. And they've made their rates for creators competitive with Drive Through RPG, which I think that is a brilliant piece of strategy right there, in my opinion. I think it could pay off. I think it could work. And I'm curious to see how it goes. You know what? I'm kind of holding out for a couple of creators to come in, but I'm definitely going to be buying that dungeon generator, because I'm starting to dip my toes into that too. I love that. That is so much fun. I have to pick up Sexual Holocaust. The premise sounds interesting. I may add it to a modern game. Do yourself a favor. Get Wretchedverse. You can. That's how it's actually set. That's the rule set for it. In fact, this is a nice segue. Thank you, Captain Graybeard. Oh yeah, I remember you telling me about that. You didn't buy it, you were loaned it. Yeah, but the Wretchedverse, Wretched Bastards, Wretched Country, Wretched Epoch, Wretchedploitation. I've got all of those. I need to get Wretched New Flesh. That just looks amazing. That looks seriously awesome. And Wretched Space is on the way. And I can't wait for that. That looks so cool. So BG is hosting Venger stuff now. Venger did have something up there. I think it was a character sheet, though. I can't remember. I did go look, so Venger is there. Make my own terrain for in-person games. Ooh. I love that kind of thing. You know, if I had a bigger place, I would probably start making like terrain dioramas and stuff like that. I don't, so I have a dry erase battle mat. But I do like it. And now that I've got, I actually bought, I want to say it was probably last week, I bought 2 notebooks, 2 of those 5-star notebooks full of just graph paper. That's all it is. And I bought a little, it's like a $5, they call it a math kit. They had it in the storefront where I worked. And it's got, you know, your protractors and your little compasses and pencil, eraser, sharpener, rulers, Stuff like that. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh, that's right. I did post. I did post a picture of its beginnings tutorial. Haven't worked on it anymore. Haven't had time. Things at work have been kind of nuts. So yeah, it does. It has to start somewhere. It really does. And even though Big Geek Emporium isn't quite up to DM's Guild or any of the one bookshelf shit, um, that kind of thing should really be a cautionary tale. Whenever a company gets too big, it's always best to kind of step back just a little bit, just to see where it goes. See, I'm retired, so I have a bit more time. Man, I'll tell you what, my my imaginary hat off to you, sir. Anyone who actually makes it to retirement, I have to show respect and admiration, man, because it can't be easy to be retired. Like I'll admit, it's not easy working these days, but it can't be easy to be retired because I know things are going nuts. We got inflation everywhere. Let's see what we got. I hear you. This week has been say so much Dragonlance. Yes, so much Dragonlance. Flora and fauna book for my homebrew. Would you be interested? Medical retired. Oh, okay. Yeah, I could get that. Oh man, God, it's got to be rough. I know a few people like that. Veterans who, they're not retired by choice. They're. But I'm going to tell you this much: you don't fuck with them. They're older than me for a reason. They're tougher than coffin nails, man. Yeah, that's why I say I got tons of respect and admiration for anyone. New One D&D is supposed to be great. Okay, but yeah. Anyway, the Wretchedverse, those books, the whole premise to these books, and this is the core. This is the core of it. You build a character around one of the seven deadly sins. With Wretched Bastards, the medieval fantasy game they cooked up, I was reading I actually bought the PDF first, and I was blown away. I was like, oh, I love it. I love it because you're playing straight up scoundrels. It doesn't mean that they're terrible people. Doesn't mean they're evil. They're just assholes. So the barbarian obviously is going to be the paragon of rage and wrath. Your paladin might not be so honest. He might just be a thief, or he could just be a completely lecherous dude, just consumed by lust. Likewise, you could have a thief who's just a thief who's gluttonous. That could happen. He's constantly stealing, right? Or that could be more avarice, really. The thief. It's. I understand. I'm going really typecast here, but yeah, you could do that. But Wretched Bastards is the medieval fantasy. It's not a thick book. It's very very thin. It's very rules light, very crunch light. Move on to like Wretched Country. That's a bit of a thicker book. You can do everything from the violent spaghetti western over to Weird West, which they do have a scenario in there for that. Wretched Epoch takes place around the same time period in France, and it ends right about the ramp up to World War One. Very cool stuff, and there's a lot of secret society stuff going on in there, which that's what had me intrigued. So I bought that one. Wretchploitation, it's B movie grindhouse exploitation. It's nothing more than that. Now, Wretched Epoch and Wretchploitation are much thicker books, but I mean, come on, we've seen thicker. Looking at you, Dungeon Crawl Classics. I'd say they're probably about the size of Mutant Crawl Classics, which isn't that big. Good stuff though. And I have to echo this sentiment. Thank you for your service. By the way, if there are any combat vets or even just, active military or discharged military, you served with honor, thank you all for your service. I do appreciate the sacrifices you've made to our Constitution. I take them very seriously. Letting you know. All right, what else we got? 90D Cav Scout. I have the skills, lots of pain to go with it all. Yeah, boy, yeah. Thank you, Captain Greybeard. All right. So the Wretchedverse. Wretchedverse is truly subversive. And the thing is, if you want a preview of what's coming, check out the game Actual Fucking Monsters by Grim Jim. You can pick that up on Lulu or at Post. As a matter of fact, I'll put it up on the screen. Hope I spelled that correct. Nope, I didn't. There we go. Why am I doing that? There we go. I'll post that to the chat. There we go. Right here, post-mort.com or lulu.com if you want the print version. Actual Fucking Monsters, that's what you do. You play an actual fucking monster. I've already created my character. Well, actually, I don't have him fully fleshed out yet, but Father Jack Flanagan, also known as the Acolyte. You do not want to mess with this guy. He is bad news. And from the AFM game, there's a whole, Miguel wrote a whole bunch of stuff for this. As a matter of fact, a couple of their recent Wretchedverse supplements, the Sisters of the Seven Sins and Orpheum Lofts, came from the Giallo series for AFM. And then he also wrote Welcome to St. Cloud, which it's Twin Peaks. It's just Twin Peaks without all the trademark stuff. So, and I do recommend that one. I know I got turned on to that thanks to the Basic Expert. He's the one that turned me on to it by just reviewing it. So yeah, definitely head there, check that out. A lot of these Giallo books, I know Wretched Country and Her Heart Was a Locked Room and No One Had the Key, both of those illustrated by the Basic Expert. Also, Wretched New Flesh was illustrated by the Basic Expert. His art is just, it's on point. Whatever it is you ask of him to, design for you, he's going to knock it right out of the park. And I've sat on his stream and watched this guy just screw around drawing something, and within 2 hours there's this beautiful picture. It's plain as the nose on your face, and it's really cool. Bub, did you just sneeze? You okay? Got the little allergies going on? Okay, now he's trying to attack my hand. Never mind. Yeah, Clive Barker inspiration. You're absolutely right. Yes. Definite shades of Nightbreed, but the thing is, Nightbreed, you're actually kind of rooting for the monster. In this game, not so much. You're really not. Oh, if you've got Barker inspiration in your game lore, I can't wait for you to publish that. I'm definitely interested in stuff like that. Any kind of Barker inspiration. Like, the only thing about Clive Barker I could not stomach was, I think it was Imagica or something like that. It was one of his other books. I just read The Great and Secret Show, Everville, and there was one other There's one other book, The Hellbound Heart. I read that one, and there was one other book with The Last Illusion in it, and I got to read that, and I was like, whoa, that's cool. I think I might have read Cabal, but I was trying to read a Magica, and this was a very, very thick book. I might have been, I don't know, 14, 15 at the time, and I'm trying to read this book. I went through 10 pages, okay? 10 pages of him describing what the clouds look like. And I was like, I don't care. Move on. You know, there was, I don't know if it was really going anywhere. It just seemed to go on and on and on. And after 10 pages, I called it quits. I closed it and I never went back to it. Ooh, All the Books of Blood Omnibus. Dude, I actually found the movie. And I was like, well, that's cool. Cabal is the beginning of Nightbreed? Okay. That's, I know Nightbreed was based on it. But it's been so long. All I can remember loving The Great and Secret Show. I love that book. That book was awesome. And I remember thinking Everville kind of felt, I don't know, like a little depressing. Like, I don't know why, but it did kind of have a very heavy and ominous feel to it that I really just, I don't know, didn't really like it so much. But it was a lot of it. You know what? I did still read all the way through it, and I can remember being a little sad at the ending. Like, really? That's how it's going to end? Okay. But yeah. Speaking of books, let's talk books. Because Yo Dano, I know you're in here. Dragonlance. We saw it. We saw its release. We saw the release date. We see the pre-order. And I'm torn. I'm not going to lie. I am torn to shreds right now. Part of me wants to take out my credit card, go ahead and place that pre-order for the deluxe edition because, hey, that's a lot of stuff for $155 or $150. We've also seen Dragons of Deceit. Dragons of oh, by the way, Dano over here got his book autographed by Margaret Weiss. And what did she put in there? Oops. The one thing you never want to hear a Kinder say. Kinders are like really mischievous halflings. And Dano, I want to run this by you. All right. I want to know what you think. Let's see, what do we got here? It all starts with the novel and moves on to the game products. Oops. All right. So, Dano, here, if I ever get to play one of your Dragonlance campaign settings, I really want to do, like, I've never considered playing a Kinder. Never. In fact, didn't even know they existed till now. Not until you introduced me to Dragonlance. But here's the thing. With the halflings or hobbits, they come across as very proper, very British, very just sort of like, homebodies. Very few of them actually really crave adventure. And so they come across as very upright and English. For some reason, the Kinder strike me as a bit Australian. You know what I mean? Like, the one thing you never want to hear them go is, oops, that's going to be bad. Oh, shiny thing, Let's see. Novel and game are not related at all. Kinder SPCs are badass, friggin' fearless. Kinder have zero fucks. They do. And they all have much wanderlust, yes. Australian athletes. He just just goes over and runs off. Never mind, this paintbrush may belong to someone. They're, hey, where's my paintbrush? Oh, is this yours? Eh. Oh, sorry about that. Here you go. Something like that. So, yeah, me trying to do an Australian accent, Oh, shiny things. Well, that's actually perfect. I want to go over and try to grab it, Yeah. It's just, I gotta say this. I feel like if I order the book for $50 and the book turns out to not be worth a damn, or it has some like actual canon breaking stuff because they did not consult with Hickman or Weiss, then I'm out $50. However, if I spent the 150 and the book turns out to be shit, at least I've got the rest of the stuff I could just like repurpose. So, Shadows of the Dragon Queen, yes, definitely. Here I am sitting here reading it. I can just put it right up on my screen. I have that power. Don't play with my power. Jeez, that really sounded a little Kurgan, didn't it? But I will say this: Dragonlance Adventures. That and what was it? I think it was Knight's Quest or something like that. I think that was for like second edition. Dragonlance Adventures was for first edition, and that hardcover has the orange spine, which astonished me. It's the only orange spine book I've got, next to the Doom That Came to Astrius, which is on its way at some point. See, AD&D had the battle system that went along with the modules for large-scale miniature combat. So I think that's what that deluxe edition is, isn't it? It's like a mass battle system that comes with the new Dragonlance. Which is what the new board game will do for 5e. Okay, now here's my question, because I'm still not clear on this, and I haven't been able to go back and look at the ad yet. Okay, so they did mention that they were including electronic versions, like ebook versions, but I'd be willing to bet, correct me if I'm wrong, these are going to be completely locked into D&D Beyond. I hope I'm wrong. Never picked up much Dragonlance, kind of poor, had to pick up Forgotten Realms, or okay, so you had to pick between Forgotten Realms or Dragonlance. Well, these days, Forgotten Realms is nothing but the Sword Coast. The rest of it is actually Forgotten Realms. I actually know someone who really loved the Greyhawk novels, but had a couple Dragonlance novels. And I was thinking, as reasonable as the deals on Margaret Weiss's site are, it's a no-brainer. I'm looking at gift ideas there. I'm like, that is fantastic. I do have Dragons of Deceit on my phone. I got it through Audible. I blew a credit on it. I was like, why not? I just haven't listened to it yet because I'm in the middle of my H.P. Lovecraft book. So, actually, I don't even know if I'm in the middle of it. That thing is going to take something like 80 hours to get through. It's literally everything Lovecraft has ever written, ghost written, co-written. I actually just listened to a story that he wrote a couple stories with Harry Houdini. I did not know that. That blew my mind. Apparently he knew Harry Houdini. Wow. Talking about crazy. Let's see. Loved Cormer and the Dales 2. Wouldn't be surprised if the electronic version was locked into D&D Beyond. Yeah, That's kind of the way I'm understanding it, but I'm still hoping I'm wrong. No money from me for WotC. Big nope. I totally understand. I do. Yeah, I'm done giving WotC my money because of the wokeism, but yep. Uh-huh. Totally got it. Hey, 28 millimeter. Good to have you in here. Shit. Hang on just a second. I need to kill Cam, but I will still be talking. All right, here we go. Let's see. Haven't gotten anything new from Forgotten Realms since 3.5. I don't, like I said, I might have played a few sessions of 3.5. And to be honest, it was okay. I don't, I was always kind of puzzled at how how can I put this? Okay, I suck at math. I'm going to let you know that right now. That's why I haven't stat blocked anything, and I dread stat blocking because I suck at math. And I'm taught when I say I suck at math, I mean I suck at math. I think my math is probably pretty remedial at best. And I got straight up left behind in my pharmacy certification training today. It was pretty bad. Moved on to Pathfinder 1E, and I'm done with buying new editions. Don't have the time and money. Okay. Yeah, you know what? I totally get that. But anyway, I remember trying to figure out how WotC had moved from TSR's Thaco into this, and I can't remember how they did it. Like, that's how little of it I got to play. I never went to Pathfinder because it was like, I mean, as it stands, I've got Basic Fantasy, got Osric, got what was it? Basic Fantasy, Osric for Golden Glory, White Box, Fantastic Medieval Adventure Game. I've got 3 different editions of D&D. I'm like, another D&D clone is not quite what I need. Let's see, the math in 3 is much more simple than earlier editions. Okay, yeah, Dano, I'm on board with that, but just real quick, going back to my previous point, Thaco was always super easy. It just depends on which. To me, it was like, what are you using? Are you using ascending or descending armor class? If you're using ascending, it's very simple. Roll a d20, match, roll a d20, add modifier, match to number or exceed, you hit. Descending, roll d20, match or go lower than the armor class, and you hit. I don't see why there was, I ran into some like math problems at work today that I was like, oh, it's this. I didn't have to write anything down, but the equations were overthinking it. I'm like, no. Look, you just do this. You arrive at the same point. Yeah, because that's the kind of thing that I don't get why that is. That's like, I don't know. It's not hard. It's not hard at all. I'll never understand. Yeah, I won't either. I don't get it. It's like, what is so hard about that? 2 hit, armor class 0. Ascending, match it or exceed it. Descending, match it or lower. Simple. Easy. Nothing to it the way we do it. It's all good in this hood. But to your point, okay. They don't want people just handing out PDFs. Okay. All right. I'm going to argue something different, though. That may be. That very well may be. But Goodman Games has never feared something like that. And they give a drive-through RPG code on the inside of every physical book you purchase. I know because I own, if I'm not mistaken, 6 of them. That's, nope, 7. 7, sorry. I've got 2 different versions of the core rules for DCC. I've got Mutant Crawl Classics. I have 2 adventures for each. I have 7 of those download codes that I can use at any time. I've never used them. Mainly because I kind of already bought some of those PDFs. But here's the thing. If I ever handed them out, I would be encouraging that player to at least purchase a copy, whether PDF or physical. And I direct them to get the physical because look, $35 is not a bad deal to get the core rule book. A set of dice that alone is like $35 and a very nice little DM screen. $35 beats anything, any deal WotC could ever put out there. And then again, when you got games like White Box FMAG, Basic Fantasy, For Golden Glory, Osric, those PDFs come free anyway. I could outfit a table. I mean, I could go to the dollar store, get some wrapping paper, some markers, some, maybe a few clipboards, some loose leaf paper, pencils, stuff to use as tokens, dry erase, you could do dry erase on the back of that wrapping paper. Go have it laminated. I can't remember. I think Staples would charge like, I don't know, $5, or maybe one of those Christian bookstores. You bring it there, $5. You can probably have a good section of that thing laminated for you, and you've got a battle mat. Nothing to it. And then we play. We can actually just get rid of the battle mat. We can get rid of the dry erase marker. We can get rid of the tokens. Get some dice. Do theater of the mind. You're good to go. It's very easy. This is why I don't get it, and this is why I say I have seen enough come out of Wizards to know locking those digital books into the D&D Beyond. I doubt their sincerity, just a little bit. I've seen the kind of things they do. Thaco was simple, but some of the younger kids don't understand integers. Boy, that is true. I got that. Roll20 is the same way as D&D Beyond. You can only access it on their site, but you can read it like a book on the site. Okay. Also much smaller than WotC. Okay, that much is true. They are not a juggernaut, but here's the thing. I have seen them. I've seen them in my FLGS. As a matter of fact, let me show you something. I'm going to stop cam for just a second here, but I'm still going to be right here. There we go. Just going to shuffle over here for just a moment, because I'm going to show you what I found there. And if I can find this there, granted, okay, like WotC has a shelf just about all to itself with their stuff, but I haven't pulled out one of the adventures. Damn. Okay. Doom of the Savage Kings. I'm going to put you aside. Get ready for this. Found at my FLGS was this big bad boy. Yep. And let me tell you, it is as nice as it looks. I picked this up and I was like looking through it going, you know what? This is fantastic. the same exact pages that are in here are in the core rule book. This one just has it's nicer, you know. Yeah, and wow, when I saw this and saw like I didn't see a price tag on it, so I took it to the counter. I was like, "How much?" And I was expecting, "Oh, okay, thanks." I was just going to put it right back. When he quoted the price, I was like, "I'm sorry, bring it up." It's a very beautiful book. Code and DCC, where in the book? I don't see it. Okay. Yeah, I gotta pop. Jeez, I'm losing track here. Okay. So when you open up the book, typically, see where this part is right here. It's usually going to be right there. And then sometimes if you grab a little look at these guys. Adventures for DCC and MCC, $10. I mean, you know, come on. If you're a truly lazy DM like I am, I'm a lazy bastard. I'm not gonna lie. You don't, especially if you just don't have time. You know, there you go, right there, right there. So, I don't think Goodman Games worries too much. It was definitely, it's a beautiful. Oh man, I truly envy you because I love the like I actually just like I was waiting for my stuff to arrive and the dice. Oh, Dano, before you go, you need a set of these dice, okay? And I don't know, did you ever did do you have any of the books right now? Because if you don't, what's the rule books? But it's not horror. Well, especially not for $10. No code in yours? Oh, that sucks. That really stinks. How long ago did you get yours? Anyway, the first time fan kits on Goodman Games' website for Mutant Crawl Classics and Dungeon Crawl Classics, they're the same. Ish. I don't know if they're the same in price, but I want to say it was like $35. You got the DCC core rule book, a couple issues of the Goodman Gazette, a set of the dice, which, yeah, and a very, very nice GM screen. For Mutant Crawl Classics, the only real difference is that the GM screen isn't quite as thick. That's really it. But I mean, to get all that in one package, it's a no-brainer. And after that, you could just buy the odd I mean, look, these things are not big either. Buy the odd little funnel or first level adventure or whatever, because the way I understand it, the way you start is you create a few different characters who are basically nobodies, and you run them through the funnel, or affectionately known as the meat grinder, and whichever one survives is your level 1 character. So let's see what we got here. Got mine from direct from Goodman. It's a softcover core rulebook. Yeah, I do have that one too. I have the softcover core rulebook. It had the same thing. That little circle. You just open up just the cover, and it should be right there. So, yeah, it's like, do I plan on running any DCC games? I don't know, but that bundle was a great deal, considering the dice alone are like $35. I've got 2 sets of them, so there's no way in hell I'm parting with them. I do like their D4s a little better, though. Their D4s tend to have more of a natural roll to them. They're not really pyramid shaped, they're pyramid-ish. So definitely something to look into if you got smegged on the deal. Either that or you got some chucklehead packing yours. Probably saying things like, the only reason they don't give this job to the service robots is they've got a better union than we do. Never thought I'd see a day and age where that would actually be a poignant statement. Isn't it sick? Oh. But, yeah, D&D Beyond, with everything Wizards has done up to this point, I think a lot of us who are criticizing what's probably coming, we're just seeing it as we're rolling a crit to, we're rolling a crit on our trap checks here. Our skill detection, our trap detection skill, we're rolling a crit on that one, I think. And here's the thing, I'm open to being wrong. I am actually open to that. If Wizards actually proves that's none of that is their intention, I will happily retract both threads. I will make a new thread denouncing both threads. I won't be apologizing to any of the people who were being jerks today or yesterday. I actually saw for the briefest of moments this one guy, Alex. This guy, Alex, is going, I don't know, pray to Odin or something. It's like, it's not even how that works. And here's the thing, I'm not mad. I'm not mad at him. Not at all. Considering he bent the knee to a corporation. I stand with my gods, Alex. You bent your knee to a corporation. Good job. But anyway, yeah, I mean, I understand Wizards of the Coast, they're a private company. They can do whatever they want. It's fine. But I don't have to keep buying it. I don't have to like it. I have every right to speak out against it. Because quite honestly, this D&D 1, now I got to talk about them a little bit. D&D 1 will attract two types of people. Normies and the Tumblr crowd. Personally, when I speak out against this and say what I think, I'm talking to the normies. The Tumblr crowd, go. You can totally have D&D Beyond. Have it with my blessing. Go ahead. You're right. It's not for me. I'm the old school grognard. It's not for me. It's fine. Enjoy. And the reason I'm doing that is because I know one thing. They broke containment from Tumblr, and now they're going to pay WotC to contain them. By the time it's over, they're going to be screaming at us from D&D Beyond out of boredom. And quite honestly, it makes me chuckle. Well, let's all pray to Odin now for Alex. Oh. I'm so glad I didn't take a drag off this thing when I read that. Oh, totally not the way it works. But, in the words of Keith David from Pitch Black, he is with us nonetheless. Well, actually, today Today is, it kind of depends on who you talk to. With heathenry, it depends. Some people say it's Freya's day. Some people say it's Frigg's day. I got statues of both on my altar. You know, Frigg's definitely one of my goddesses. I love her to death. You know, actually did a meditation where I'm pretty sure I saw her, but that was during a meditation. It's a very deep and intense meditation, and yeah, it's one of those. I haven't done it since, but you know what? I do have a book. It's a devotional to her. I've got one. It's a devotional to her. Another. It's a devotional to Thor. Um, I've got I got statues of like 5 of them on my altar, and there are a couple that I want. I just haven't been able to find them in that small size. You know, hey, the altar's small. It also doubles as a bookshelf for my tarot cards and books, so it's space saving. Is that the new battle cry for Alex? For Alex, I don't know that I would do that. Oh, Alex, if I had to say anything to him, it's basically go forth to D&D Beyond and get conquered. Because that's exactly what's going to happen. Let's see. Diana Artemis. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. You're kind of going Greek and Norse. I dig that. I can totally, like, there are so many people that are like, oh no, pick a pantheon. It's like, no, dude. No. Polytheism doesn't work that way. You're a polytheist. You believe in many, you know, if you do. Mix and match eclectic, yeah. And guess what? That works for some people. That works. If it works, I got nothing to say about it, man. My opinion don't matter. But it's like I've told people, if it doesn't, then find something that does. You know, find something that speaks to you, man. Find something that just really just lights you up. I know what lights Dano up. Dragonlance all day long. I know that lights him up. He is super, super pumped about that kind of thing. That's exactly it. It's what calls to you. You know? I mean, you know, granted, if you're feeling called to worship Balor, then I might kind of think something's wrong with that. But, I mean, come on. That thing opens its eye. It burns the very air. I mean, jeez. Yes, there's our battle cry. Dragonlance! You know, raising drinking horns. Dragonlance Skull! You know. For Paladine! That could almost be misheard, I think. But Cunningham's solitary practitioner. You know what? Cunningham was one of those authors. I had a few books. I know Llewellyn carried Cunningham. I never got to read them. In my move, I think I might have given those books away because, yeah, I was coming up here at the time, and I had to kind of unload a lot of stuff. Some of it got unloaded whether I wanted it to or not. Made me have a sad big time. You know what? You and all your antics. Why don't you come up? Why don't you come up and say hi? Come here. Come here, bub. All right, here we go. Daily bub. Just like Pundit does daily meatball, I do daily bub here. Ow. Hey, ow, 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 ow. Hey, ow. Ah! Ow! That hurt. That stung. Oh, hey. Don't you eyeball that. He's eyeballing my books away. I eyeball nachos. For Tasselhoff. Oh, wow. For Tasselhoff. Yeah, that, I don't know why, but suddenly I'm thinking I should see a black Trans Am with a sweeping red eye when I scream that. Like a Guide for a Solitary Practitioner. I think that was one that I did have. Oh wait, no. Nope. I'm lying. My ex-wife had that one. My ex-wife had a ton of these kinds of books, and when she moved in with me for the first time, I was like, I'm sitting there with like bug eyes staring at, I had this like rather empty shelf. She comes in and she's like, "Oh yeah, I got books I can put in here," and I'm like, "Great, yeah, whatever." Then we ended up going to Massachusetts. We picked up a bunch of stuff, brought it back down to where I was living. When we put it all away, that bookshelf had been stacked full to the point where we were like, you had all the books kind of like lined up, and then you had books stacked on top of that. I'm sure you guys know. You play role-playing games. You know that. All right, Dano, take care, man. Look, if I do pull the trigger on Dragonlance, I'll totally let you know. I will totally let you know, man. Have a great night. Peace. That's a good one too, by a different author. Yeah. It was my understanding just about anything by Llewellyn. This is back. Oh wow. Was it 99 into 2000? Yeah, about 99 into 2000. That's when all these books were in my home. I was able to kind of look through some of them, read through some of them, and people are sending me stuff. They'll be waiting. But yeah, I did most of my reading probably before I met my now ex-wife. So a lot of books kind of like were there for 1 minute and they were gone the next because they were hers. Nothing I could do about that. But yeah, I did practice Wicca for a while. As a matter of fact, one of my favorite books, and this one I beat the brakes off of it reading it. It was just called Magic for Beginners. And there was like a host of information in there. I didn't quite think I didn't think it was beginner level. A lot of it was very like OTO, Thelema, Golden Dawn kind of stuff. A lot of Crowley references too. And I was like, this is kind of deep for a beginner. At least that's the way it came across. But I did. I gave it the I gave the initiation ceremony a try. So I was self-initiated. And I actually kind of started writing a lot of my own spiritual practices, kind of part of what the book had and then what I had on hand. So that was kind of like, I hope I'm not screwing this up. Last thing I want to do is screw up some spiritual energies, open a portal, and then suddenly get sucked in by a huge tentacle and be facing a cult wearing white robes with a triangle on the hood. The two dark arts. Okay, Crowley, when he first starts out, is very meticulous. He makes sense. And I don't know, he just has a certain way about him. But Crowley, as he goes on, you could tell he's getting more and more into his drug habit, and then it just devolves into the writings of a drugged out madman. And I think the drugs and the power that he had in the OTO, you put those two things together, I think it uncovered something that was just sitting beneath the surface the whole time. So that's why I'm not a Crowley fan. Like, I had this discussion with T-shirt Historian on Twitter. He was looking at my tarot decks. He's like, "Oh, I noticed the Thoth tarot is not there," and I'm like, "Yeah, I'm not." Or was it Crowley tarot? It was one of those, but I knew it was associated with Crowley, and I was like, "I'm not a Crowley fan, man. I can't get into him." It's kind of like watching. It's like what happens if Euronymous, Varg Vikernes, and Jeffro Johnson form a band. You just call it what it is, the Edgelords. So I couldn't get into them. I don't know. Like, yeah, I really had a hard time following them in the later stuff. I think a lot of it was probably, the only way it really made any sense to me was if it were tongue firmly planted in cheek, which it had to be. I don't think he could have been serious. And I don't see how anyone takes him seriously. I just don't. I don't get it. But I can kind of understand how people become enamored with him. I get it. But at the same time, I just don't get him. So, just one of those things that happens, you know. I've got to figure out how on earth to do that whole, like I know I can do split screen and share and all that good stuff. Sort of like this bit right here. If I wanted to share my screen, but I don't know if I got anything worth sharing. I will say this much: I think with D&D Beyond, yeah, I'm not going to be there, and the reason why is because it doesn't make a lot of financial sense. Because I know they're going to turn it into, if not a subscription service or a microtransaction service, it's going to be both. And like I said, the only way to really push that is going to put them, they're going to paint themselves into a corner with it. If they don't cast out, or not cast out, let me not say that. If they don't get back to what made D&D great, if they don't get back to its core, its principles, its the spirit of it, and its base, which that'll take care of the rest on its own. If they don't get back to that, they're going to paint themselves into a corner. Because on one hand, they're going to have that set of arbitrary rules that only applies in one direction, or they're going to go NFTs. And trust me when I say this, they're going to lose people on both sides of the political aisle with NFTs. I've had people on both sides of the aisle come at me because I hold crypto. You know, it's like it's not your money, dude. Don't worry about it. And I've been hit with all kinds of ignorance about that too. You know, I'm not saying anyone else should own a crypto. I'm just saying I do. I never got into the NFT thing. It doesn't make sense for me. You know, for something like, say, D&D Beyond, if they went back to, say, let's just say they went back to let's say they went back to BECME. Okay, they have an entire section of D&D Beyond carved out for BECME. Okay, that might entice me to come in. So I come in and I'm having a great time, and there's a special edition War Duke Mini, a digital mini that I could put on that Unreal Engine map and I could play it. Okay, it sells for $10. I buy it. Now, under the rules that only apply one direction, I purchased it. It's associated with my account, but I don't own it. And that means if I ever get, kicked to the curb, there goes my mini. Unless they put that thing on the blockchain, and now I got to get my hardware wallet and I got to put that into my ledger and move it back and forth. But I own it. And every time I come away from the game, I take my War Duke and I'll put it back in my hardware wallet. There we go. There's a problem with that, though, because I really can't bring it anywhere else, right? I can't bring it to Roll20. I can't bring it anywhere else. So if they kick me to the curb, I'll still own that War Duke, and it'll be rare. But now I got to sell it, which, because it's mine, I can do that. I don't think that that's a route they're going to go. Maybe, but I think once you have it in that way, yeah, they're going to kind of think twice about ejecting someone like me. And I say that because there are people like me who'll be like, after those little rare things, right? The things that you can't duplicate, because the blockchain will check that and go, no, he owns one, she owns about 2 of them. There are only 4 in existence. You can't just copy it. Oh yeah. That's the problem right there. And already they got people like Alex, and he called me an NPC, and I'm going to say this, dude, you genuflected before a major corporation. I hope you got paid, because if you didn't get paid, it's not me who's the NPC, bud. It's ridiculous, yeah. I mean, or how about this one, Cap? Oh, it's not for you. You're one of those OSR people. Oh, it's not for you. I say this is why WotC can put on the big PR show. They can do that all they want. End of the day, they have absolutely cut. We're here to unite the old school crowd with the new players. We're here to cut you off. Oh, you want to play, Real Cyclopedia? Well, that doesn't conform to our standards anymore. That work will never stop. Hey. Oh, you want to play first edition? So racist. Like, dude, I think really, there are 2 things that needed to be said to these people. Number 1, life is good. Please get one. Number 2, build a bridge. Get the fuck over yourselves. And here's one thing I wonder. Just one thing. There are so many good creators out there. As a matter of fact, one of them, Pedro, is one of my friends on Twitter. I've kind of pimped his Kickstarter for Arcanus Runic Edition. I backed that one, so I got that one coming. And it's a deluxe book, much like the DCC book there. Chunky boy, too. It's about the size of a DCC book. And it's an adventure setting for 5th edition. They just dropped that. And now they're like, well, how much playability is going to come out of it? Personally, Pedro, You know, Pedro, if you're catching this podcast a little later, don't worry about it. You still got a couple good years or better. And if people are playing at the tabletop, they're not getting this new rule shit. You know, they're going to play it on the tabletop. The people like me who purchased a physical copy of the book did it for a damn good reason. By the way, that book also comes with PDFs. Honestly, Pedro, I mean, just anybody listening to this right now, people still play first edition. People still play second edition. People still play third, 3.5, fourth. I honestly don't think fifth edition is going to go anywhere. I really don't. I think there are people who are just going to have a straight up protracted, aversion to D&D Beyond. I mean, it's basically a glorified video game. And that's what you're going to be. I mean, we complained about fourth edition being video game D&D. This is for real video game D&D. Oh, now they want to go editionless. Yeah, I'll bet. And it's a shame, too, because part of me really did want to get Curse of Strahd, the original, not the revamped version. Which the revamped version, I found, there's a difference. It comes in a big coffin-shaped box. It's like it's double the price of regular old plain Jane Curse of Strahd, the book. Yeah, I'd rather spend that money on Dragonlance, but then again, don't know if I will. Part of me kind of wants physical copies of Old School Essentials, to be honest with you. But I've also got Basic Fantasy, so don't know if I'm going to do that. But I can't, I really do want to kind of close this out on happier notes. We got Big Geek Emporium now. We got Big Geek Emporium, we got Lulu, and I understand Lulu may not be the pinnacle of free speech, but I haven't noticed them bouncing anyone yet. But yeah, all the old school clones are right there on Lulu if you want physical copies. And in some cases, if you want the PDFs. Big Geek Emporium right now, pure PDF, but I think print on demand's coming probably sooner rather than later. I don't know. I'm waiting to see. Oh, right. Yeah. I used to see that advertised in comic books, and I had no idea what it was. I knew it was a very dark and gothic setting. I used to love looking at those ads, too. They were so awesome. But I was kind of looking at that thinking, these are just really dark castles. I wonder what's in there. I had no idea it was like a take on Count Dracula and Van Helsing and stuff like that. I had no idea it was that. If I had known, I probably would have begged my parents to get that for me so I could play it. Strahd kind of strikes me as a little foppish, maybe takes himself a little too seriously. Like the type of vampire James Woods would look at and go, call him a fucking pulse monkey fashion victim. Let's see. Made a box set. I would love to have that too. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Those box sets, I'm going to say this. Dark Sun. Dark Sun, I think it was the Ivory Triangle. First Quest. Kingdom of Karamikos. Glantry, City of Magic. All those. Mark of Amber. Absolutely wonderful for getting someone into AD&D second edition. They were absolutely instrumental in doing that. And it's a tradition that still continues to this day. I just don't think WotC quite understands what made the box set so special. I do have the starter set and essentials kit. I would probably break those out and play with someone that way if they wanted to play that way. But I think WotC is just way out of touch. I can make my own coffin box for it. Damn right. Love James Woods, especially in John Carpenter's Vampires. Jack Crow was one of my absolute favorite characters, and I never, like, when I went to like vampire movies in the 90s, I was interested in the vampires. In this one, Thomas Ian Griffith did an excellent job as Valak, and that moment you realize that Valak the vampire is this what's his name from Karate Kid 3, Terry Silver. Yeah, the guy who actually owned and funded the Cobra Kai dojo. The same guy. So weird. But yeah, I found myself actually kind of rooting for James Woods, because he had such great quips throughout that entire movie. Awesome. Just awesome. Quite a bit of Dark Sun. Oh, yeah, all Forgotten Realms, yeah. And like I said, I remember seeing the ads in the comic books that I was reading, and I was thinking, oh, man, I would love to play those. Those look like so much fun. And unfortunately, I just didn't get much of a chance to. But what I did get to play, I enjoyed. And I'll never forget getting the starter set and the essentials kit and bringing those home. And when I opened them, I was a little underwhelmed. I was actually kind of expecting just a more updated version of, say, First Quest. You got a few minis, you got a few nice poster maps. Make it sort of like a board game, so it makes the transition a little easier. No. They have a couple maps, they have a rule book, they have a few rule books and some dice, and that's about it. But The Lost Mines of Phandelver is a really good adventure, and that one you can get for free on D&D Beyond. Which, okay. Personally, I still would rather play it right there on the physical surface of a tabletop. There's just nothing like it. Gathered around with your friends or your family or both, and generally just kind of seeing where it goes. I know DM Blackwall has been running Horde Wars. We could use a dwarf, and if you're catching this on Saturday, they're playing tonight. So yeah, contact at DM Blackwall on Twitter if you're interested in taking up the dwarf role. I will not be there. I'm playing the human fighter Sir Arthur Royce, which it's kind of a bit of a paladin. I took a departure from the barbarian type this time, and I'm having a lot of fun playing him. He's a fun character, especially I can find a lot of his personality kind of natural, because hey, I love Excalibur, and this guy reminds me of a very young Arthur. So, Dark Sun is such an interesting setting, though, if you've never read it. And I hear whispers that WotC wants to revisit that one next, and I'm like, oh, no, just please, can we keep the dumb fuckery to a minimum on that one, please? That one has a special place in my soul. Don't do that. But I know what they're going to do. Got to remove all the problematic parts. Can't have that. Great. So you're just going to set it as D&D out in the middle of the desert. What is this? D&D Dune or D and Dune? There we go. D and Dune. That's what it's going to be. Forgotten Realms, though, I never did get to play, but I know one thing. I think the Essentials kit plays in the Forgotten Realms area, particularly the Sword Coast. Like I said, Sword Coast Remembered Realms. Everything else is the Forgotten Realms. I think I have a bunch of PDFs of Dark Realms, or not Dark Realms. Forbidden Realms. Sorry, I think I do. I know I got a bunch of Dragonlance PDFs. I could run Dragonlance for days. Actually, probably could run Dragonlance for years. Personally, I would rather play in it. I really would. Railroad or not. But hey, who knows if this thing reaches critical mass and WotC comes to Big Geek Emporium, which I kind of doubt they will. I don't know how that's going to work out. I really don't. WotC's probably not going to be received very warmly there. I can just say that. Maybe. You never know. I mean, stranger things have happened. WotC released the stuff they initially vaulted so they wouldn't lose market share to the old school clones. I'm just saying. And not one of those companies was bigger than WotC. They can easily become that way, though. All we got to do is ignore WotC and buy those. We can make up our own shit. Especially if you got anybody who has old stuff. Can easily integrate it. Hell, I saw Sylvia Clemente was talking about she wanted to run Chalt. But they have an SJW in their group. I don't like Venture. So she's like, yeah, you're still going to play in that world. I agree. Set the expectation, and if they can't play in it, well, go find another table. This isn't for you, that kind of thing. But I never did get to play Dark Sun. That particular box set that I bought from Drive Thru RPG in the printed book, I got it because I just really wanted it. I wanted it's the easiest way to get into a realm and explore it. And I was like, okay, I really don't know exactly where to start on this one, so I'm going to just go ahead and start right here. And between that and some of the YouTube videos I watched, which tell you the entire lore, it's pretty awesome. Oh, what? Yeah. Oh, yeah. If James Woods wanted to sit down and play at the table with us, oh, yeah. I could just say, hey, what are we playing? Ravenloft. Yeah, what's that? You're going to go up against a vampire. Should be familiar territory. Oh, yeah. I can do I've done vampires. I've done fucking vampires. Come on. Bring him on. Where is he? Hey, Strahd. After 600 years, how's his dick working? Pretty good? That would... I wouldn't be able to roll. I wouldn't be able to call my actions because I'd be too busy cracking up. And James just like, he's trying to fuck your mom last night. She was a little dry. He got some Vaseline. Oh, that would be great. It would be awesome to see, to actually see something like that. It would be awesome. All right. So we're coming upon the last few minutes here. So just real quick, I do want to I'm just going to do this because it needs to be done. And I think people need to see it. I did not do that right. There we go. So there you go, people, right there. That's the site to go to. That is the site to go to. Forget One D&D, D&D Beyond. Forget all that. Go here. Right there. Go there. Check it out. You can get stuff by Miguel and Sylvia at the Red Room. You can find stuff by the Basic Expert, Victor Gorchev, just Avenger Satanis. Plenty of people out there starting to put their work here. And you know what? A lot of these games are, in my opinion, better than some of the mainstream stuff that's out there. Seriously. You're not going to regret it. Right now, it's all PDFs on that site. It's all PDFs. You're not going to break your bank. And on top of that, you're supporting independent content creators who are doing just amazing work. And we're talking, in the case of the Red Room, we're talking like several releases before the first half of the year was out. I mean, I still remember buying Wretched Bastards, I think maybe about 3-4 months ago. You know, that's how long it's been. And now they've expanded it into its own universe. It's crazy how much material they have dropped in such a short amount of time. And it's good. You know, you're not going to be let down. You're not going to be disappointed. But yeah, check them out. If you don't have money for now, just bookmark it for later. You know, no harm in looking. Put some eyes on that thing. Spread it around. Let other people see it. And this is really what I wanted to advertise right here was this. You know, we ended up talking a lot about WotC, and I did say I didn't want to talk about them. I really didn't, but it's there. But Big Geek Emporium, right there. There you go. You know, at some point, I would probably like to have Joe here just to tell you guys about it. I don't have exactly a colossal following, but you know, still could be fun. Anyway, let's see. I would definitely not use vampires. Probably some Elder God Lovecraft stuff. Hey, there's a thought. Rather than, if we have James Woods at the table, rather than doing vampires, 4 Against the Great Old Ones. I actually happen to have that book. You know, it's basically like you could do a solo adventure, or you could do it you could do it co-op with other players. And it's basically a GM-less game. It couldn't hurt. I think I would actually enjoy that. 4 Against the Great Old Ones. And what does that come from, ladies and gentlemen? The works of H.P. Lovecraft. Guess what? How about we throw a little bit of this in there? This could be all kinds of fun. Like, make this an actual item you would have to find in the game. It could work. I got that mainly to rip some stuff. Cthulhu Vikings. Hail Yog-Sothoth! You know. Woo, that could turn bad. You don't want a culture that tough suddenly springing cosmic horror on you. I'm just saying. And besides that, something else that I know, I said this in the video earlier today that I did. Magic in that culture back then, that was solely the domain of women. Like, men did not practice that. That was seen as unmanly. So, yeah. It exists in my homebrew. Yeah. And here's the thing. If you wrote it and it makes sense, hey, you wrote it, it made sense. You know, definitely not knocking it. Don't know that I would do it, but, you know, I'd be curious to play it, see how it worked. Yeah, definitely throwing some cosmic horror. you know, cosmic horror Viking stuff in there, that combines two of my favorite aesthetics. The only way it gets better is if you throw some cyberpunk in there and make it techno Viking cosmic horror. Yeah, I don't know how that would even work. I really don't. All I know is I just dig the concepts. But anyway, all right, I think this is a great place to call it. We're just cutting it at just under 2 hours. Maybe run that at Galacticon next year. That could work. You know what? Let me know how that works out. Seriously, let me know how that works out. I would love to hear about that because, yeah, I dig that kind of stuff. I don't know why. I kind of dig that offbeat, off the beaten path kind of thing. What's this? Dude, get some sleep. I'll catch you later. Yeah, I gotta feed Bub. I'm a little over his time here, but we are coming up upon the 2 hour mark, and I think it was a great live stream. I think it was a great conversation. I wasn't able to do the live stream Tea with Raven Saturday morning because I got to work, and that sucks. But it is what it is, Maybe next weekend. I don't know. I'll have to see. We're still kind of going through that process with the potential promotion and all that good stuff. So we'll see. We'll see how it turns out. And, as soon as I know, you guys will. Anyway, I want you to do all of yourselves a favor. Take care of yourselves and all your. I do not have my words. I love you guys. Take care of yourselves and each other. Always do what lights you up. And as always, you know how I end this. Shine on, baby.